good afternoon, everyone, I'd say. Depends on what time zone you are. Good evening, good afternoon. I think some of you have some knowledge about UI, UX development, some don't. Let's just see where everyone is. For HackSecret, we wanted to also do this workshop because we thought, okay, if someone's doing like a nice dApp, let's say, we want everyone to have like a UI that's actually nice to use and a user experience that's actually appealing, because that's something that we want to make sure is spot on in Secret for the future. For the workshop, let's just quickly dive in. Who are we? And that's about us. So I'm Secret Saturn. So I'm Alex. I'm based in Germany. I'm basically studying physics right now. And I'm basically known for the dashboard together with Kevin, who's also going to say something about him, Ledger app, fee grants, and my validator in Secret that I've been doing for a long time. Kevin, do you want to introduce yourself?
So, as Alex said, I'm Kevin. I'm also known as Secret Jupiter. And you might think, why the name? Well, basically, back in the days, I was working in the shadows under the name Secret Saturn, I would say, together with Alex. It was always Alex concept, and so I wanted to basically step out of the shadow, create my own concept or branding, or however you want to call it. And since I didn't want to go far away from home, I just chose Secret Jupiter. So that's why. I'm also based in Germany. And I know Alex for probably like 15 years already. So we're some close friends. And currently I work as a senior IT consultant. And as a side hustle, I'm just I'm really digging Secret Network. And I saw some opportunity on basically pushing UX in Web3 in this area. So that's why I talked to Alex. And we started with the Secret Ledger app to get a better user experience with the Ledger, to actually see what the transactions would do. And then we came to with the idea that, hey, we should maybe do a dashboard. So that's how the Secret Dashboard was born. So that's about me. And just a quick question to everyone attending. Guys, let me know how you are, and maybe in the chat post a flag of where you're based in. So that would be curious to know where you guys are from. So just post a flag or something in the chat. So that's about us.
So I think probably most of you already know about Secret Network, so we're gonna do it pretty quick and just go into the details for the tokens. I would assume you already know what Secret Network is, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Awesome. New York City, France, awesome. Canada, perfect. That's awesome.
It's really international here.
Yeah.
Great.
Where in Romania? Awesome. Yes, that's also nice. Czech Republic, nice. Okay. So the key thing about Secret is, or one of the main features is, compared to, let's say, Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, other public chains, is the main thing that differentiates Secret from these is basically that you have privacy preserving tokens, right? What's the idea behind it? So if you compare this to the traditional privacy coins that we all know, like Monero, Zcash, what's the difference between them? The main problem is that we basically have the public tokens, coins, and we have our privacy coins, but of course you can't. Let's say you want to use the public coins in a privacy preserving manner. What are you going to do? That's where Secret Network basically comes in. And the idea behind it is, if you have like a public coin, you can bridge it into Secret, and then you can have a privacy preserving encrypted version of this coin that exists on Secret. And the idea behind it is, if you have this privacy preserving version of this public token, let's say wrapped Ethereum, that's in a Secret version right now, or Secret Bitcoin, for example, or Secret Atom and so on. So the idea behind it is we have all of these privacy preserving wrapped tokens. And the good thing about them is you can still access all of the transaction data, but only if you decide to share them. And that's the key difference between Secret and, other public ledgers. So the thing is, to have these or to use these viewing keys, you usually have to do some extra work to work them nicely into a user interface. And that's all of this. That's the main thing that all of this workshop is all about. How do we handle these viewing keys? How do we make the user experience good for someone who doesn't know what viewing keys are? And how do we make it as seamless as possible, right? To make sure that no one's like tripping over these, because everyone still has their knowledge of public ledgers, right? Of Ethereum and so on. But what are you going to do if you have viewing keys? That makes stuff more complicated. But if you do it right, you make it almost frictionless. Okay, so the idea behind it is how do we get Secret to work with other chains? So the idea behind it is we basically have Secret itself as a layer 1 privacy solution. So it's its own chain that lives on its own network and so on, with its own validator set and so on, with everything that we have. But now the thing is, to get asset into Secret, of course, we need to bridge them into Secret. And the key thing to do this is by 2 ways mainly right now. One thing to do it is to do it over IBC. So for the whole Cosmos ecosystem, we use the inter-blockchain communication module. And we can basically just import every asset that we have in the Cosmos ecosystem. So let's say from Osmosis, from Juno, from Kujira, and so on. We can bridge these into Secret pretty easily. And bridge other assets from SecretNet, from let's say from Ethereum, or like any L2 that we have in Ethereum, that lives there, like Arbitrum, Optimism, and so on, Avalanche, and so on. We can use the Axelar network bridge right now. That's been live for, I think, about a week right now. And you can use this special network bridge from Axelar network to bridge assets that are living in Ethereum. So let's say the traditional assets, as you know. So that basically Ethereum itself, that's, for example, USDC, USDT. These assets are basically bridged in via Axelar right now into Secret. And that allows us to have all assets from Ethereum in Secret Network, and also allows us to have all of these connected to all of the assets that we have inside of the Cosmos ecosystem. So basically, we bring all of these together inside of Secret Network. So the idea is, how do we do this? So as we've already said, we have the IBC module that basically takes care of the Cosmos ecosystem, also the Cosmos Hub ecosystem assets. Then we have also the Monero bridge right now to bridge assets from Monero specifically into Secret. And we have the Axelar bridge right now that basically takes care of all of these Ethereum assets. That's just a thing to keep in mind. Before this, we had another bridge that's now deprecated. So keep this in mind when you look at the assets. We had other bridges before, but now we moved on to Axelar bridge. That's the new one. Exactly. So we can also go on. Yes. And now the thing is, since you have all of these assets, how do we do this, or how do we do it best with the user experience in Web3 now? I think that's a good time for Kevin. Do you want to take over? Perfect.
So yeah, I've been in crypto for like 10 years or something. And at the beginning, we didn't have a front end at all. Back then, we only had like blockchain.info or something like that. For Bitcoin, that was like the old age of crypto. And yeah, I would say having like dApps and everything is pretty new, especially how it's built currently, like with pretty good-looking dApps that are also working. The pool is now growing, and so whenever I checked, the user experience wasn't really that great. So I was like wondering as a noob, like, how can I start? How can I get assets? How can I wrap them? What exactly is unwrapping? What's the features? So basically, I started on the base, like with no knowledge at all, and I was always like wondering, hey, why is it so bad? Why is the user experience so bad? And I mean, it's pretty clear because things are so complicated. It attracts a lot of, how do you say it? People that are very smart and very technical. And I've always, or in most times, people that are really great at technical things, they're not the best at doing the user experience, because it's hard to understand how to view everything with no knowledge at all, because they have the knowledge. So yeah, when I started with no knowledge at all, that was actually a good thing, because I knew what was lacking in the apps. And so, yeah, the current state of UX in Web3 is basically that dApps have a great backend, but unfortunately, the front ends most of the times feel a lot like proof of concept and not like fully fledged apps, because sometimes you get an error, you don't get a message about it, or maybe you get a message you cannot work with, yada yada. And so, I mean, tech savvy people will have a hard time already. But not so tech savvy people, they will really have a really hard time with the technology. So yeah, the problem is that the user experience mostly isn't helping here either. So we do not get any helping messages or like, hey, you can contact our support or something. And the UX in Web3, I mean, almost always expects good knowledge already. So you will open an app, and the app will give you opportunities to do things, but you will have to have some basic knowledge about these things already. So yeah, the idea is to enhance the usability of the dApps. How do we define usability? Well, basically, we have a few keywords, buzzwords, however you want to call them. Basically, an app should be useful. So can it do something people need? It should be learnable. So can people figure out how it works without any much hassle? Is it memorable? So do you have to learn it again for each use, or can you just use it without learning? Is it memorable? Is it effective? So does it do its job? And whether it's efficient. So does it do it in a reasonable amount of time and with a reasonable amount of effort? So it should be pretty easy, actually. And also what's important is whether it's desirable. So will people want it? Because if people don't want it, they won't use it at all. And of course, plus points whether the app is enjoyable. Sometimes apps, they can be pretty basic and do their job, and sometimes they can be like really beautifully designed. So people will have a lot of fun using it. Maybe you have some gimmicks. It's just the small things that will help people, keep the app in mind and be happy using it. And what also plays like a role is, of course, accessibility, but that's just another topic. So about usability. If we summarize it, basically it's all about easy and accessible, even for people with little knowledge. And the key point here is to make people understand without thinking. When you're using Facebook, when your grandma is using Facebook, she's not thinking, she's just doing. And that's how you get people hooked. That's how Facebook works, that's how Instagram works, TikTok, and so on. So yeah, why not bring that to Web3? I mean, the technology is already overwhelming for a lot of people. So why not make it easy or maybe more fun, or give them some basic information about it? I know it's not always possible. For example, just imagine someone will have a wallet with some ETH. They will have a MetaMask wallet, and they want some secrets. So they first need to know, okay, how do I get, which wallet do I need? How do I get secret? And you could basically give that information on your website or link it or whatever. And especially because I believe that Web3 can get pretty complicated or very technical, it's important to establish a pretty high standard for UX. Because the classic world, the classic Web 2.0, is pretty easy. So, anyone's grandma will probably be able to use it. But Web3 is right now is not that on that standard. So let's push it forward. And so that's basically what we did with the dashboard. For those of you who have never seen the dashboard, because we already talked about it, let me just quickly show it to you. The dashboard is basically like a view of the current state of Secret Network. We can see the price and some other stats. Just see anything in this form. You can IBC transfer your assets. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. From other chains to Secret Network, or from Secret Network to other chains. You can just transfer your secrets or any other assets that are available. You can wrap and unwrap your secret into S-Secret, whatever you want to do, and have some more information about it. You can use the pretty new feature auto restake also, and have a view of all apps available. So yeah, that's basically the dashboard, and the idea was to make it easy and fun for people. So just as a quick teaser, if I just hover over this information, you will get like a little description of what's going on, what it is, what we can do over here. So that's basically the idea, to enable people using it. So yeah, that's our goal, to have a high standard for UX. Let me just show you one example of a Web3 app. So basically, what do we have here? We have a viewing key wizard. Now the question is, if we see it for the first time, we are pretty overwhelmed as a user. So I mean, what we see is like an error message, a message that says, this app is broken until the next Kepler version comes out. Now the question is, if we see that we have a Kepler update, will it work automatically? Do we have to wait for this? We have no idea, you know. And maybe some people will understand or know what this is about, because it's probably linked somewhere. But for people who don't know about it, they will probably think like, hey, what's a viewing key wizard? So that's just another thing. And also, I think the UI is pretty overwhelming, because you can check or uncheck so many items. And if you just don't know, there's no way of learning how it works or what it does. Now I don't know what this question mark will do, what information it will give you, but it's always nice to know more about these things and to give some more information. Maybe just some title, subtitle, whatever. So basically, the user has to think here. And if we just head over to the Web 2, we can see an example for a design without thinking. So basically, it's a screenshot from eBay. I just searched for Ledger Nano. And I mean, the typical user, even if he never saw eBay or used eBay, will probably be very familiar with the layout. You know, there's like this big search bar at the top. You have an overview of the items. You do not even have to think about it. You just see it and it just works. And for example, if the user wants to choose a category, he does not have to search for a category, so he doesn't have to type for it. But he gets some examples. So he sees, for example, mining hardware, home and garden, and then he says like coins and hardware wallets, and then he's like, oh, this is the correct one, you know. So yeah, that helps, because the user doesn't have to think. He just has to look, and everything will work automatically, basically. I don't think it works with every person, but I guess using the same design principles over and over is pretty helpful for people to use the web without thinking. Yeah, here we have another example of design without thinking, but this time it's in Web 3 as well. So, I mean, you can still enhance it, but let's just check. So at the top, we can see that we have this Cosmos IBC transfer, and we see the start and the end. Because of the icons, they will tell us what's going on over here. We have the addresses over here, and we can see that we can initiate an IBC transfer. So that's basically, yeah, I would say design without thinking, because you just see, and you can just do it if you know what you're doing. Yeah, so that's just an example of Kujira Blue. That's where we have it from. So what are the main takes here? I come from a pretty musical background, actually. And back then, there were some years where the community of this, of the genre I made music with, where everyone was like, hey, you're stealing this or you're stealing that. Not to me, but everyone was accusing everyone. And basically, the problem is that everything is a remix. There is no original. I mean, if you just copy something one to one, of course, it's a blatant copy, and that's not what you can do. But yeah, basically, just keep in mind that you do not have to reinvent the wheel. You can just check other examples and just do it on your own. For example, if you want to, let's say you want to say, hey, let's build a house. Then if you just imagine a house, you will probably have like a dream house in your mind. If you just think of your dream house, you'll have something in your mind. And of course, whatever picture you have in your mind, it's probably something fantasy-ish. So it's something new. But of course, it's built out of images you've seen already. It could be houses you've seen in real life, maybe on pictures. So basically, your mind is just remixing it. So that's what we want to do with the UI UX. Just take things from the Web 2 and just bring it to Web 3. So things get easier for new people. And I kind of like to blur the line between Web 2 and Web 3, so that people, how do you say, so that people do not need to think a lot about it, like, yeah, Web 3, it's really hard. No. It's basically just a web. If you have a wallet, of course. So yeah, basically copying is fine as long as you're smart about it, and as long as you do not make a one-to-one copy, but maybe you just check something for inspiration and you can just use whatever you like, enhance it, change it the way you like it. And what's most important about the UX is, yeah, well, don't make people think. Because if people need to think, it's gonna be a hard time for some people, and you're probably losing some on that way. So yeah, what can help? So just as an example, what can help is like having a well-structured visual appearance. So that means giving everything enough space, and you could also have something colored versus outlined, for example, for secondary buttons or primary buttons. And the main take here is also, the more important it is, the bigger it should be. And I have some examples for you here. For example, here we can see a modal, an accept terms of service modal. You've probably seen a lot of these. And just click on I accept or decline. So basically we have this bold headline. It has a lot of contrast, and it's also a bit bigger size compared to the text. So you will immediately just see it's a terms of service. And the text is a little bit grayed out, so it's not that much in the focus. And basically what's in the focus most is the button that is colored, which is the I accept button. So people probably just don't think about it, they'll just click on I accept. So that's what we want to bring to Web 3, because that's what you don't see much. This clear UI. This one is also a little bit clearer, I would say, because you see a warning icon and it's also in red. So yeah, people will be much more, they will give it much more attention and probably read the text. And what I can just tell you is, if you need some inspiration, you can just check out some documentations. For example, the documentation of Bootstrap or Tailwind. Let me just show you. If I just go into the Bootstrap documentation, you just wanna, 4 is not the latest. You just wanna start and create something, and if you just don't know where to start, I mean, it can be some basic things like how do I design a button? How should a button look like? How should it feel like? Because I've seen buttons, you would click them and you just wouldn't, it just doesn't feel like a button. So you can just head over to the Bootstrap documentation, and I guess we have some definitions for the buttons. So we have some examples of how a button could look like, how it could feel like when we click it. So it will have a darker background when I click it. Or we have some button groups, as you can see here, just taking inspiration here, and it really helps. And for example, if you just want to create a navbar, this navigation at the top, and you're just thinking, how should I design it? How should it look like? Well, if you just don't know, you can just check out other examples, or just check out the Bootstrap documentation and check for the navbar. And here we have some examples which we could just take. And perhaps we just don't like it. We could just modify it as we wish. I mean, we could just use Bootstrap at the first place. I just don't prefer it. I just prefer doing it custom. And besides Bootstrap, we could also use Tailwind. I really dig Tailwind. It's a really great front-end framework for basically replacing CSS. It's like a helper CSS framework. So with Tailwind, we have some components over here, and they're pretty generic, as we can see. So I don't know, this box here, maybe we want something similar. We can just copy the code from here, because you can just browse the components. We can just take it as inspiration. So if I just click on, what do we have on this page? We can see some page sections. Here, this pricing sections. So here we have some examples of how it could look like. For example, if we have some text, some check marks here, and we want to highlight one price, this could be the way how it could look like. if we want to compare different tiers, we could just do it like that, you know. And what I would do, I would just check these examples, and basically I wouldn't copy them, but I would probably use them as inspiration and just see how I would do it. For example, if I just wanted to design this comparison, this plan comparison item, I would just look at it and I would think like, okay, do we need this most popular tag? Should we do it a little bit bigger? Should we change the colors, the icons, whatever? So that's how I take inspiration, and it's working very well. Because of course you could do it from scratch, but you would probably land somewhere near this or whatever, and it would take you probably like 3 times the amount of time. So yeah, that's what I always do, like comparing some references. So yeah, again, can really vouch for the Bootstrap documentation and also the Tailwind documentation for that, if you don't know where to go or maybe need some inspiration. Or of course you can just check out examples you know, or maybe just check out Dribble or Behance. Like for inspiration, just check out the web, you know. I have one more example of how you can basically enhance the visual structure. So on the left side, we see a title, a subtitle, and a text. And I mean, we did already have or integrated different font sizes, as you can see. But if we just compare to the right side, well, what did we do? And why does it look so much better? You know, it's just really small things, but they really do the job. So I guess the font size is the same. But what we did was we added this grayed out color to the subtitle. We added some separation, like some space between the subtitle and the body, so everything has space to breathe. And also the line height of the body has been increased, as you can see. So there's space between the lines, and this also gives like the text a little bit space to breathe, and it really helps a lot, as you can see. So again, it's like really small things, but it helps the user to stop thinking, or the user doesn't have to think about it because everything is visually structured. So the brain will automatically think like, okay, this is the subtitle, this is that. Unlike the left side. And also, I mean, I did tell you that we should add room for everything to breathe, but if we just compare the sizes of the left one and the right one, like how much space it takes, it's not that much of a difference, you know? So yeah, always do that. It really helps. I have some more examples of what we could do in a dep. For example, what I like to do is basically adding these information tags, as you can see here. So if someone doesn't know what a secret rep does, or this form does, you can just hover over this information and he will get a text, just like I showed you before. And I mean, the user, even if he doesn't know what or how the set viewing key works, if he just clicks on it, it's a button. I guess viewing key will already reveal some information about what the button does. Like viewing key is probably something like a key to view the balance. And if he clicks on it, you know, you'll probably understand what it does. So again, with the figurand, when you hear it for the first time, you're like, okay, what's a figurand? What does it do? Again, add an information here, and that should work for the user. So yeah, we have some coding examples here as well. But my main take here would be, are there any questions for now? Like, are there any, or maybe something you didn't understand? Just let me know. Okay, I see. I see 2 people typing. Kyle asked, can you link the repo again? Yeah, sure. Let me just send you the link here. Okay, so that's the link of the Git repo. We're gonna do or walk through some examples with a React app. So basically, if I just click on that link, just open it right here. Basically, we can see this Git repo. It contains 2 branches, the main branch and the solution branch. The solution obviously gives a solution for everything, but what we want to do is like check out the main branch and work our way up. So you can just, if you want to participate in the practical part, you can just download the zip over here. Just unzip it. It will look like this. And you can just open this folder in your Visual Studio Code, and just basically run npm, not npm, it's yarn. So I'll just type it in the chat. It's yarn install to add all the dependencies, and yarn start to start the application in developer mode. So yeah, you can do it right now. I would suggest that we make like a 10-minute break so everyone can set things up. And if you have some questions, you can just ask them in the chat, and I'll just help you out. And in 10 minutes, let's say, actually in 10 minutes, fine. And then we will meet again and we will do the practical part.
I hope everyone had enough time to install everything. Maybe if you did, give us a short yes or no in the chat. That would be nice. Just to know what's going on.
Yeah, so basically I just downloaded the zip, unzipped it, or just used git clone. And I opened the project in Visual Studio Code. So we can see it over here. And what I did was I basically just run yarn install to install all the dependencies. It will take probably like 1 or 2 minutes for you if it's the first time. And then I can just run yarn start. And then I will just have this localhost running on my computer, this Vite server. So I can just open it up here, and I will have this view over here. Just open it, this browser. So that's the idea. Yeah, so I hope everyone already got that working. Okay, so Alex, you're sharing right now?
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen for the code. Is that fine? Looks like it. Yep. Okay, let's see. So is everyone ready or not? Give it a quick. Is it the main chat? Yes. There. Or in the main stage, whatever chat is best. Ready? Okay. Good. Perfect. So the first thing that you basically need to do is before you can do anything with the with your dApp, in essence, you need to connect to it. So the main problem is, of course, you don't have any user accounts. So you need to take care of the fact that you, of course, need to connect your Kepler wallets with the page. And of course, if the page just knows, okay, that there's this account with this address, so that we can interact with it. And the way to do it is by using the Kepler API. So Kepler implemented, Schnapps is basically the builder of Kepler implemented a special API for it. In essence, it's basically just a nice code snippet that you need to use, and Kepler does the rest for you. But I want to go quickly through this. So what we basically did, and this was like quite a smart move that that Kevin from Secret Jupyter did for the dashboard, and we also use this part of the code for the dashboard, is that we have some context. So the idea behind it is we basically share all of this secrets JS, the interaction point with what we can interact with secret, with the chain, and we basically share this across the whole dApp and across all pages. But let's get into the deeper things. This is actually optional, of course, but we highly encourage you to use these code snippets that we have in our workshop here, and they will just make your life a lot easier. And you can cut time in these parts. So let's say you want to use like build a dApp, you can basically use these code snippets that we have here from the workshop, and you can just implement it into your own dApp that you build during HackSecret. So we highly encourage this to do this. Saves you a lot of time, and we can promise you the UI UX will be pretty good with this. So the idea behind it is we put this all into the function of setup Kepler, and what we have is mainly two things. So first, we need to, of course, check, is actually Kepler present in any way? And if Kepler is present, is there actually like a way to see, okay, are the secret specific utilities, so these are called like Enigma utils, are these actually available or not? If not, we're just gonna wait and see if they get available. This usually happens while the page is loading, and Kepler is injecting its code into the page. but I wouldn't worry too much about this. But you need to be careful to keep this code snippet actually in the page, because otherwise it could happen that, for example, it just tells you, okay, there's just no Kepler present. Even though there is, but it just hasn't been loaded at this point in time. Now, this is where the real interesting part starts. So to enable Kepler, basically what you do is you basically give Kepler the command to enable the chain and the chain ID. So the chain ID basically is secret 4 right now. For mainnet or on testnet, it's Pulsar 2. So for our workshop, we use Pulsar 2. So use this one if you are on testnet, and use Pulsar 2. And we basically defined this already in secret chain ID. So we offloaded this in another page just to have like some clean code. For the default options, this is actually optional for you, but I would highly recommend to do it like this, because this is actually to make this to keep this compatible with Figgrants, and also just to keep this compatible with the UI across all dApps, because all dApps usually use these options.
Alex, quick feedback. It looks really smudged on my screen, so maybe you can just
I could, yeah. Let's
font.
just change it again.
Now, it was fine. You can just hold down Command and press plus in Visual Studio Code.
Yeah, let's do it like this. That's a good idea. Better?
People can follow. Yeah, this is much better.
Yeah, it's not better. Perfect. Okay. Exactly. So the idea behind it is now we basically got everything together to one Kepler that's starting. And now we actually get this signer. So this Kepler offline signer is basically this only, again, offline signer only amino. And the idea behind this only amino signer is basically a signer that's able to sign messages directly on paper wallets as well as on Ledger devices. So if you want to make sure that you are compatible with Ledger, you need to use this one. There's basically like another signer that can directly sign stuff, but it's not compatible with Ledger. Just keep this in mind when you need to interact with accounts. I would usually recommend just using this one because everything else is just compatible with it anyways. Then what you do, you basically pull the accounts that you have from Kepler, and you pick the account basically that you picked out and just get the address. And what we now do as a last step is basically initialize secret.js. So we create a new secret network client with the URL, the chain ID, this signer basically, which is basically the wallet, an address, and these encryption utils, which is basically stored inside of Kepler. So Kepler stores some encryption utilities that's like handling it by itself, and you basically just pass it onto secret.js, which takes care of it. And what you get out of it is this secret.js, which is basically just an instance of secret.js that you freshly created. And you can use these basically to do all of the queries and sign all of the transactions that you need. And it's best, and we heavily recommend this, if you basically just use this and just pass this around in a context. So for example, that we have here, we use this in a special context. And if you do it like this, you can basically share it across the whole deck. So feel free to copy this part for your project that you have in HackSecret. It's greatly saves you some time. Yes, exactly. So for the URL, basically you can use any Pulsar 2 API nodes. In my case, for example, you can basically use mine, which is HTTPS, for example, which we define in secret LCD, but just to make sure that you see what's going on. So this is basically my address. Then you have the chain ID, for example, in Pulsar 2, that basically Pulsar 2, just this one. And for the wallet stuff and the Kepler signer, you have the stuff that you defined above. Exactly, and that's everything that you basically need. And then you basically just pass around the address that you have, your wallet address, and you pass around the secret.js, which takes care of everything of signing. Exactly. Aside from this, we usually just slap some extra, let's say, some extra convenience stuff on top of it. But to be honest, the key part here is just to make sure, okay, we can correctly connect to secret.js, and we can correctly derive a signer. So basically a wallet that allows us to sign transactions. Yes, I think that's the part for Secret.js. So feel free to copy this part actually right here, to use this one to your advantage to save time. I think that's the best approach to do. I think we can move on to the next part, Kevin.
Yeah, sure. So, come on. Resizing windows in macOS can be a pain. Okay, so Alex just explained how technically how connecting to the wallet works with Secret.js and Kepler. And fun fact, this, let's call it Kepler API. It works with other wallets as well. So you've seen in the code, we used Kepler stuff, and basically this window dot, I think it was window dot Kepler, right, Alex? Could just scroll to that part.
Let me just see. What part do you mean specifically? This one.
Yes, window.kepler.default options, things like that.
Yes.
So basically, it is indeed Kepler API, but it works the same with Fina, Cash, and other wallets. So they basically inherit the Kepler things to be compatible. Okay, so that was that part. Let's move on to my screen. So I guess you can just stop streaming, Alex.
Of course. Anything else that we need? Do you want to show?
Yeah, let me just walk you through the project. So it's a really slimmed down version of this dashboard secret wrap function. So we do not have any dark mode. It's just light mode. We can connect the wallet, and it just says connected. Nothing else here. And we can just wrap things. We can just wrap secret to HackSecret. We cannot switch. We can just. It's really simple. So let me just walk you through the project. I'll just make it a little bit bigger. Is that fine for you?
It looks good to me, at least.
Yeah. Okay. So what do we have? It's basically just a React app. I think it's React 18, so the latest one. So it's not server-side rendering. It's just client-side rendering. Let's just check out the source real quick. So we have this app TSX. What do we do here? We have the Secret.js context. We basically this will basically just give us everything around Secret.js. So we can just check it out real quick. It's under context, Secret.js context. And here we will just get Secret.js or set Secret.js as well. We will have a secret address or set the secret address and whether we have a modal about it open or not. And here we have the logic Alex just showed us. So that's the Secret.js context. And basically our app right here where the root is rendered, basically our app is wrapped inside this context. So everything inside this app basically inherits this context. So we can use Secret.js anywhere within this app. It might look a little bit complicated. That's because it has been basically pushed out of the dashboard. So we have just slimmed it down. It's not a perfect state, but I guess it works for our workshop. And then here below we have this function app, which has some metadata in the title or in the head. Then we have the body, which is basically just a router. So it's just check what we have here. Where is it? Yeah, here we have it, a React router DOM. So that's what we use here. And any path will just push us to the wrap component. And this wrap component is inside this layout. So where does this one come from? The default layout. Let's check. So basically we have this file, which is the default layout. We have some toast container for toast messages. So like information messages we can have at the bottom left or wherever we want it. It's bottom left. We have one for mobile and one for desktop. And then, of course, we have this top bar, which is basically just this wallet connector. And below this, we have content, so the children. And in this case, as I told you, we have this wallet TSX. No, the wallet TSX is basically this connect wallet icon or button. It's actually right here, wrap TSX. Okay. So here in this wrap TSX, we have the logic for this little window we see here. So this secret wrap. So let's just walk through it. So yeah, we have some context. We will not need it, I guess. Here we can see we grab secret.js, secret address, and connect wallet from the secret.js context. So basically we just stream it down to wrap. We have this wrapping mode. I guess we do not need it here because in the dashboard we have wrap and unwrap. Then we have amount to wrap, selected token. So these are basically the items that are here selected or entered. We have some UI information, for example, the price, whether it's a valid amount, which is a Boolean, and some other things. We have a regex to see whether whatever's entered in here matches the regex to just validate it, which we have in the validate form here. We do have some other. What do we have here? Yeah, we're checking the prices. We have like a message that we can print somewhere. We have the function for this button group, which we could have here to see how much percent of the available amount should be automatically pasted in this box here, and so on. So yeah, let me check. As you can see, we have a lot of things commented out. So these are basically the things we could add in the process to enhance the user experience, but we're gonna check these out in a second. So we are gonna check what it does, why we need it, and how does it help. We have the submit function, which will be run when we click on this wrap. So you see, it's like this whole wrap thing. That's the button. And I guess down below, we have the full app or the whole container. So that's the wrap. And we're gonna concentrate on the wrap, but let me just head over to this first. So we have this user interface, and I guess we could say for just wrapping things, it could be completed already. Like we could say, okay, it works, it looks nice, let's just use it. UI is good, let's go. And what I want to show you is how we can enhance it even more to make it way, way more accessible to people. Because right now it's not that accessible. So the first thing I see is, for example, if a user wants to click or do things, you see everything is grayed out. You cannot click here. You cannot even click on wrap. You see my cursor is not changing. It's not a button right now. It's disabled. So how do we activate it? I mean, guys like you and me, they probably know that, okay, we have to connect the wallet first. But new people will probably not know about it. So you see, I can now enter things in here. Now, how do we point people to the Connect wallet? Well, there's, I guess, a couple of ways how to do it. But easiest way is probably just, why point, like if the user clicks here and it doesn't work, why point the user to the Connect wallet icon or give out a modal that will give you the message like, hey, you have to connect the wallet first. Why do that? What we could do is, if I just go to wrap, disconnect, if I just click on this box here, it will basically just connect the wallet, because why not? Why should we not do that? Because when the user tries to interact with it, he probably wants to play around with it. And if what he needs is connecting to the wallet, then just use that function here. So the user will be probably confused, like, okay, where do I start? So he will click, and if he has a wallet, then it will automatically connect and it will work out of the box. So that's what we can do. Let's check. We should have some code for that. So now where do I find this? Check it out. Whether we have it here. Oh yeah, we have this function called handle click. And basically what we do is inside here, if we do not have a secret address and if we do not have the secret.js, then basically we're not connected. So these are the indicators for it. And if we do not have that, well, we just want to run connect wallet. And so what we have to do is just add handle click on this whole div. So if I just put it in here, you see it's grayed out. And if I click, it's automatically connecting. So that's the first thing of how I could enhance the UX. And I guess one more thing is I'll just do it in the incognito mode. If I open the localhost in the incognito, I will not have a wallet in here. So I do not have Kepler in here. So if the user will click on connect wallet and no Kepler is installed or any wallet is installed, then nothing will happen. And I guess the developer just didn't think about, hey, what if the user doesn't have a wallet? He just thinks, or he just assumes people have it. So what you can do is just, basically just give out a modal, just as we do with dash.secret.network. So if I go to rep, or whatever page actually, if I just click on connect wallet, you will see we have a modal that says, hey, please install a wallet to access all applications. And we do have some examples, for example, Kepler wallet for desktop and Fina wallet for mobile. If I just click on them, you'll just get the Chrome extension. And for Fina, it's just a Fina website. Yeah, okay. So that's what we could do over here as well. So right now it doesn't work. The user will not know what's happening. So let's just edit. Yeah, this is true alpha. Let's just, how do you say, make it accessible for newcomers, people who do not know what to do. Because imagine your grandma wants to use the dashboard. If she doesn't have the Kepler wallet installed, she will know that she will need it. So that's the idea behind it. Okay, so let's add that as well. So how did we do that? I hope it's already as a code in the workshop. We should have a component for it. Yes, no, maybe. Yeah, we have this get wallet modal. Not sure why it's in the context folder, but we do have it here. So basically it's this modal, which is already pre-made. It's already in there. And as you can see, we have this Kepler wallet. We have this Fina cache. It's basically this wrapper. Okay, so what I can do now is, let me see where we have it. So we have this function called handle click. Let's trace it. So handle click will basically check whether secret address and secret.js is available or not. And like I said, these are the indicators whether we're connected or not. And if we're not connected, then, well, it's just running connect wallet. So let me just go to the definition. And right here, we just take it from secret.js context. So let's head over to the secret.js context. And as you can see, we have this get wallet modal over here already. So what is missing here? Yeah, we have this modal that we can just add here. So basically, above everything else, or every child, we have this modal, and basically it opens when is modal open is true, and on close we're just setting it to false, and also we manage scrolling it as well in here. So and this set is modal open is probably triggered somewhere. I guess, yeah, we have it in connect wallet. So we're checking whether window.kepler is available. So if it's not available, then, well, we need the modal like, hey, you need the wallet. And if we do have window.kepler, of course, well, just do setup Kepler with set secret.js and set secret address. And I did some automation stuff for the Kepler autoconnect. I can show it to you in a second. So yeah, let's actually check window.kepler what it does. Because if I open it in my console, we can see that we get something back, some information about Kepler. And if I do it in the incognito mode where I do not have Kepler ready, I guess we just get an undefined back. Yeah. So you see, that's basically the check we're doing right here. We're checking whether window.kepler is available. And since it's not available, then we want this modal opened here. So I did that. Let me save it. And again, if I click on Connect Wallet in the normal browser, things will work. But if I open it in the incognito mode, if I click on Connect Wallet, you will see we have a modal. That will basically just give us information about, hey, you need a wallet. Pretty basic, but it's really mandatory, I guess, because you do not always have, like you want to grow the pool of people that will use Secret Network, right? And how do you do it? Well, basically not by making it inaccessible. You really want to make it accessible. So that is just another example of what we can do. So I'll go back to my normal browser. Any questions so far? And also, I would like to get some feedback in the chat while we're at it. I'm pretty curious how you think about the way we presented. Like, we could give you some time to program it by yourself, but I guess we just want to learn about two things: about how to connect to Secret Network or Secret via Kepler, and how to basically enhance UX in Web3. So I guess that helps already. But just curious. So just let me know in the chat here. Anyways, so what can we do? I see. How do you set up TypeScript with Secret.js? Good question. So I'm not sure whether Secret.js already implements TypeScript. So let's check it out. Secret.js. Whether it has, it's written in TypeScript, so we do already have TypeScript support. And well, basically setting up TypeScript in your project is pretty simple. So basically you have to install TypeScript, and you will have this, where is it? This tsconfig where you can configure everything, how TypeScript should look like, which definition of TypeScript we want to use. In this case, we use ESNext. Basically that's how you can do it. And well, just use the extension TS or TSX. So you can just write TypeScript, or TSX comes from JSX. Basically, it's the React version. Okay. That's how you do it. So again, Secret.js supports it out of the box. And I'm pretty sure there should be also the types for it. I can check it in a second. Oh yeah, I see a separate config from package.json. Yeah, that's mandatory, of course. That is really mandatory. But I guess that's a state of the art. So only the bad projects have that together. I don't know. I haven't seen them for a while, so. I've seen a lot of React apps with Secret.js. You can use any front end framework. I guess there's also some examples for Vue.js. And just as a quick teaser, what I want to do on my GitHub is basically I want to publish some Kickstarter projects for Secret.js, because I always had issues starting with it, because I always ran into issues that weren't well documented. It doesn't have to be like that nowadays. I mean, it was like a year ago. A lot of things happened there. But what I want to offer to people is, we have this connected button here, or this connect wallet button, and basically I want to give everyone a Git repository where you have React and also Secret.js already implemented with this button. So you can basically start off building your dApp, because you will have this connect wallet here, and you will have this overview. For example, how much balance you have over here, and your address, which you can copy to the clipboard. So that's the idea. That will come in a few days, hopefully. And just if you want to check it out, just follow me on GitHub. It's Secret Jupyter, and you will see it over here in the repositories. So yeah, that's one thing. And I guess I'll also make a reference dApp or reference implementation for Vue.js, so you guys can just start with it. Okay. Let's head over to our app. Yeah, and by the way, as Alex from Secret Saturn just mentioned in the chat, you can just use this workshop repo, or you could just use the dashboard repo, which is of course open source, which you can find in the Secret Labs GitHub. You can just use these repos as a boilerplate to start your own things. Okay. So let's continue with this secret web. So what can we enhance as well here? So as you can see, it works already. I can just enter some numbers over here, and if we just check what do I have here. By the way, I've set up this Pulsar network, so it's basically the test net. So we have some secrets over here, and basically I can just wrap these secrets into HackSecret. Let me just quickly do it. Proof. And then I should have less over here. Okay, it did not work. Why did it not work? Check again. I'll just use the high one. Okay, wrapped secret successfully. So we should have less balance here. We don't. Let me just inspect it. What do we have here? Okay, that looks fine. Okay, not sure why it's not happening over here, but that's fine for now. Okay. So what else do we want to have here? So as a user, if I want to wrap or unwrap things, I guess sometimes I just want to wrap it all. And if I want to wrap everything or all my assets, then how many do I have? So I would first have to check out my Kepler wallet, see, okay, this is my balance. And then I could just enter it here as an example. And by the way, I think this balance here is glitched. That's what's going on, because my app already tells me that I have a maximum of 510 secret. Anyways, so it would be pretty nice to have like a button that will give me the opportunity to basically autofill this box here with the maximum amount. So yeah, we do have that in our project already. So I can just head over to my rep TSX and let me check. We have this thing called percentage picker. I'll just add it to my code here. Then I'll check where I can implement it here. Let me just use that one here. Let me just comment that one out for a second. And well, basically now we have these buttons where we can just add the maximum amount of wrappable secret which I have available. Or I could just add 25%, 50%. We could just use this or just implement the max button, I just thought it would be a great idea to have these options as well in here. So yeah, that's what we can add here. And by the way, it's just like fine tuning. We have not even added that to the secret dashboard, but I guess it could be also helpful. If you click on max, or imagine someone who does not know much, he will click on max and he will like, okay, I want to wrap all my assets. Well, if he clicks on wrap, and if he just approves that contract, well, the problem is he needs some gas. So I guess it would be much nicer if we would just use .5 instead of .7, so you have some secrets for the gas. Because if you use max, I guess it will be rejected. Let me just check it out. Yeah, we do not have enough funds. So that's the message we got here. So max will basically not always work, or it will not work at all. And you see, you lose some bits of your assets because, well, the contract did run indeed, but it just wasn't successful. So what we could do is, for example, if I click on max, it will not paste in the maximum amount, but it will be the maximum amount minus .1, maybe. I don't know. Could be. It's not implemented here, but it's just a quick hint like that. We could do the same for the user experience. And also, I guess, since we can already fetch the balance which we have in our wallet, it would be pretty nice to print how much assets we have over here. So let's just do it over here as well. So for that, we have this native token balance UI. We have a function that will return this code. Let me just go to you. So I'll connect, and then we will see how much we have available. Okay, I see we have a question in the chat. Kyle is asking whether max is bigger than funds, or whether funds are max. Well, basically, when I click on max, I can show you what it does. So we have this percentage picker. This function will return, you see. Okay, Kyle says it's a proposed solution to the issue. Yeah, I guess I would just put in like minus .1. So whatever that is, minus 0.1. That could be a solution, a possible solution. You could also probably just check out or like calculate the average fee. And I'm not sure if the API of Kepler will give us actually the average fee for this contract in V4. But we could, of course, just add that in here and just take it away, So that's just one, possible solution. So again, I just added the available amount. I guess the user wants to know how much secret he has, and perhaps also how much that is in US dollars. So yeah, that's what we added in here, and you can just get this amount from Kepler. And if you would just want to convert it to the US dollar price, I guess we just use the CoinGecko API to just get the price of secret and just calculated it like this times price in US dollars. That's what we have over here. Do we have something more we could enhance? So yeah, we really like the idea that new users, I mean, it's already implemented, but new users should basically see what this thing is doing. So if the user will enter 5, we see that the button says wrap 5 secret into 5 S secret. And that's what we wanted to have in here, because sometimes we have fees, sometimes the user maybe doesn't even know what it is doing. Like it says from secret to S secret. Maybe it's not that obvious, I don't know. So just to enhance it, I just pasted in this message in here. And if no amount is in here, we see that it just says wrap. So that's just one small thing. Could be done, doesn't have to be. We just thought it would be a great idea. Yeah, another thing that is also helping the UX is like always have a validation, because a user will definitely just put in letters or something in there. Or maybe your app will not be ready for commas, it will only be ready for dots. So perhaps you want to make like a, how do you call it? You just regex whatever the user is entering, and if you have a comma, it will be automatically converted into dot or whatever. Just always use some kind of validation, because you do not want to have a contract running with, I don't know, ABC in here, and it's just not gonna work here. So, and it's probably gonna be a horrible user experience. So just go for it. Yeah. So let me just check what else we have in here. I'm pretty sure I forgot some things. Okay, so we also have the wrapped token balance UI. Oh, this one is pretty cool. So let me just add it over here. Let me see if we have it added over here. Yes, we have this div. Click. Okay, so what I just added was the implementation of this button and this information. I guess when we see how much secret we have, it would be quite nice to see how much S secret we have. I guess you're already familiar with the concept. If you want to see your S secret, I mean, you will need a viewing key, because without a viewing key, you know, they're private by default. So these are the privacy tokens. So what I can do is I could say available, not available, or not need viewing key. But what we did was we added a button that will basically just add a viewing key to your Kepler. So that way the user will see, I need a viewing key, and I can get it because it's a button, I guess. So the user will click it and he will see, oh yeah, I can just add it over here. You just approve it here. We could add some messages, I guess. No idea why this is not running. I guess it's not running because it's testnet right now. So just keep that in mind. But basically, if we do have a key, we could basically show it over here. So that's one main thing. We just add it over here so that the user can add the viewing key. We also have it in the secret dashboard. You see it's a little bit, you know, this one is a really like a thin app version of the dashboard version. I mean, in the dashboard version, we can also unwrap things like that. And you see we can add a viewing key here as well. And what we wanted to add in the future as well is having like a, let's call it the viewing key manager or something like that. Because sometimes we just want to see our balances in our Kepler. And well, the question is, how do you see your S secret balance? I mean, you do not have a button here like, hey, show me S secret or whatever. So you will have to have some sort of application that will give you this functionality. And right now, I mean, you could just click on, I don't know, S Luna and just get the viewing key for S Luna. But I guess we just need a user interface where you can just view all your viewing keys or add some, whatever. But that's for the future. Okay. So that's just one thing that will make things much more accessible for the user. And I guess it will be much more fun, because imagine the user will be on his mobile phone and he wants to really quickly wrap things. Well, it's possible, but well, how does he know how much is available, how much dollars it is? He will always have to switch apps. So why not just show it over here? Because it's relevant. So that's why we did it over here. We know that the user can just view it over here. We just thought it would be a better idea to have it here. Okay. What else do we have here? We have this submit button that has some disabled features. Oh yeah, okay. So right now you see the wrap button. You cannot click it. You see that the button is kind of disabled, but it's still colored. So maybe the user will not understand that this is not clickable. He can click on it because it does some action, but it does not do what it should do. Just to show the user that he first has to click on it to, pop things. We just added this disabled feature. So when we do not have secret.js, or when we do not have a selected token address, or no secret address at all, then I guess it's just grayed out. And when the user just clicks on it, we see that things are getting filled, colorful, and I guess the user will just understand that he can now interact with the app. All right, we check what else we have here. Oh yeah, we have a tooltip. Let me just activate that one. It's just a, what is it? It's from the tooltip API. We have some kind of message with this, this far info circle. It comes from Font Awesome. Let me just show you how it looks like. Basically, if I just hover over it, I will get some information about, well, in this case, secret rep. And we could add these information tags, these tooltips, anywhere where we think new users will need some context information about what's going on. And I guess if you're a new user in Secret Network, a new user will have the question like, what is S-Secret? What is this thing called SCRT? What's the difference, And that's why we just added some information. In this case, it just says converting publicly visible secret into its privacy-preserving equivalent as secret, and also the information, these tokens are not publicly visible and require a viewing key. So, it's just really simple. It's really small, but new users will probably appreciate knowing what's going on here. And also, we could have like a box over here that would always be displayed, but I guess it would be pretty intrusive for users that already know everything. So we did it really simple. Okay, we could add that tooltip on other points. I guess we did it in the dashboard for the fee grant. So Alex, maybe you want to explain real quick what's about the fee grant?
Sure. So the idea behind the fee grant is essentially the following. Let's say you're new to Secret and you're coming in, let's say from Osmosis maybe, and you have some tokens that you want to wrap or unwrap and so on. Or for example, you have a wallet that you just newly created and you want to, let's say, fund a new wallet anonymously. So what are you going to do? The idea behind fee grants now is, and this is where fee grants come in, is that a fee grant pays for your transaction costs. So it doesn't actually send you secret. It will, however, pay your transaction costs. So what you can do is basically you just press on this fee grant button as Kevin did, or in our case for the dashboard, it actually automatically detects that you don't have any secrets. Yes, can do it. Exactly. And it will automatically give you a fee grant. And what it does then is it basically sends a request to a fee grant faucet that we've set up. And this fee grant faucet will grant you up to 0.1 secrets per 24 hours that you can freely use to pay your transaction costs. So actually you won't see any secret in your account that way, but it will allow you to pay for a transaction cost nevertheless. So for example, Kevin can, use this secret wrap function to unwrap something, maybe to unwrap something. Yes, like this. And and he can use this fee grant, and what this fee grant does, basically, it will just pay for his transaction costs. So if you want to have, or if you're dealing with users who are new in Secret and don't have any secret to pay for transaction costs, you should consider implementing fee grants. We have implemented them in the dashboard. I can actually link you to this as well, because that's actually quite a nice feature. And if you have more questions about fee grants itself, for example, on how to really use them, you can just contact me as well on Discord or so if you want to. But we also implemented this, of course, in the dashboard, so you can also look at the code from the dashboard itself. I will actually link to this, because we actually have a special Kevin did an awesome work on implementing it the correct way, which is, for example, as we can show here. And with this, basically, you can implement fee grants in every dApp that you have. and you can use it for every transaction that you sign. So feel free to copy this. Feel free to use fee-grants to your advantage to ease the UX for you, to make the user experience a lot better, because they don't need to use or need to have any secrets to pay for transaction costs if you use fee-grants. So use this feature to your advantage if you need to. Actually, Shade is also going to implement fee-grants in the near future. I'm working with them to make sure that they have everything that they need to implement it. But Shade is also going to use this. So this is actually quite a nice feature. I mean, it's not available at release date, but Shade is definitely going to use fee-grants to their advantage. And you should do too, if you have a dApp that you want to, that you had, or that you target users that are new to Secret. So you use this as much as you can.
So basically, if you want to have a new wallet address and you want to have it decoupled from all your identities, then I guess you just send out HackSecret to this new wallet. But the question is, how do you unwrap it? Because for unwrapping, you will need the native token HackSecret, and it will need some. It doesn't just exist on the new wallet. You have to send it over, and of course, that is not anonymously. So that was the idea, to basically grant the fee of unwrapping. So basically, the new wallet with 1,000 HackSecret, you can unwrap these without even having the need of owning secret. So that's the idea. Okay, so yeah, that's what we have over here in this dashboard. We just didn't thought that this would be a great idea to have it in this example. We just wanted to streamline it to the basic features to show you just how to enhance the user experience. Are there any questions so far? Doesn't seem like it. I will just check if I guess we're already done over here with the practical part. Let me just check if I forgot something. There's something commented out which I could show you. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, so yeah, these are some examples of how you could enhance it. If you just check out the dashboard with the wrap functionality, for example, we did some more enhancements for the user experience. For example, we have this button in the center that will switch between secret wrap and unwrap, as you can see here. So you can wrap or unwrap assets. We have some information about it, what is going on. So if you click it, it will switch to wrapping. So if I click on it, you see it's wrap, vice versa. What else did we add? So sometimes when we wrap or unwrap things, it would be pretty nice to link to the IBC transfer, So for example, if you have some secrets, you want to withdraw them from Secret Network, you could just click on this button and you will be forwarded to the IBC. And then you could just say, okay, from Secret Network to, let's say, Osmosis. So that could work. It's just an example, but yeah. And I guess what we could do, it's just an idea, but I recently added a new functionality to the dashboard. We're talking about these search params or URL query params. So for example, we can, if I switch to Jekyll and I'll just say unwrap, we see that both of these things are saved in the URL. So if you send this link to someone and he will open it, it will be set up like this already. So we have unwrap and Jekyll. And what could be pretty nice is if we, let's say in this case we have secrets. If we just unwrap secrets, if we want to go to the IBC transfer, then I guess the user wants to IBC transfer secrets. So I guess it would make sense to, have it set up like this. Or for example, if I have Juno, the user clicks on this icon, I guess what we want to have is this setup. So, we do not have Juno over here. But yeah. So that could also be like an enhancement. It's just really small, but works. And what could also work, again, I don't know if the Kepler API will give us that, but to enhance the UX, just an idea, we could add like a little table that will tell us how much it would cost, Just like when you buy something online, you want to have at the last step, you want to know how much you pay for the product, maybe the tax, and also the shipping. So I guess we want to have the shipping fee over here. So basically, we're talking about this the fees over here. So we could add that over here as well. Just an idea. So that's basically it. Enhancing user experience in Web3. Again, any questions? All right. Yeah, again, what we also added here, just to show you, we do have some more information over here about your wallet. For example, the wallet address. If we click on this, we can just copy the address to the clipboard. We see the balances of secret and HackSecret, or perhaps set the viewing key over here, and perhaps disconnect to the wallet. So that's what we can do. One more thing which I could show you, what we implemented in this dashboard. I think it should be under application, yes. So let me just remove this Kepler Autoconnect. Let me explain to you what I did. So if you just head over to the dashboard, you will automatically have this theme set to dark. In this case, because my operating system is set to dark. The thing is, if I click on Connect Wallet, or in other words, if you are a new user and you have never connected to the wallet, I guess it would be kind of creepy to have like a window floating around that will ask you for permission to connect to the wallet. Because why the hell would I want to give permission to the website to view my balances and my ID and everything before even knowing what's going on over here? So for first timers, there is no auto connect to the wallet. And what we implemented was, well, when I click on Connect Wallet, well, we do connect to the wallet, but what it does in the background, it will add this Kepler Auto Connect flag to the local storage, and it will be set to true. What does it mean? Well, basically, React is always checking whether this is true, and if it's true, it will try to auto connect again. So if I open it in a new tab, you will see that it is automatically connected. But what we also did was, let me just reload. You will see it will be automatically connected. The thing is, if I just set it to false, if I reload, it will not automatically connect. So that's the idea behind it. Yeah, that's the auto connection feature. I guess sometimes it bugs if you already logged in like weeks ago, and if you then auto connect when you open the dashboard again and you have not unlocked your wallet over here, sometimes you have to enter the password, then you will get a prompt first asking you for permission or for logging in. But I guess that's just helping users to auto connect, to make things easy so people do not have to think. All right. Let's head over to the presentation. I guess there's not much left. What you could do is add a testnet and use the faucet to add some secret to your testnet wallet and test things by yourself. We always recommend using the testnet for that. It's all well documented in here. So for the last words, you can just join the conversation over in Discord, in Telegram, or any other social media that Secret Network is using. You can just use the Secret Network website, or also, of course, the dashboard. These are the sources for the icons which we used. And if you want to contact us, basically, I just put our Twitter handles in there. I guess we will do a giveaway in a few days as well, where you can just win some secret. If you want to get some more news about the dashboard and about more UX, UI related topics, you can just follow us on Twitter and be informed. So thanks for joining. We're open for questions, so if you have some, just let us know. And we're also open for some feedback. So just use the chat over here and we'll see. Alex, any last words?
Yes, in case you have also questions, like let's say tomorrow or like some days after this workshop, just, how do you call this again? How to word in English? Okay, forget it. And just call us by our name basically in Discord, and make sure you're basically mentioning us in the chat, and we can assist you, like if you have a specific question to your UX stuff. So in case you're building something for HackSecret, I'm actually happy to help with this as well. What do you mean the reply? Supposed to reply soon? What do you mean by this? Good to know.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah.
this
Yeah,
is
the replay on YouTube. Yeah, I guess that will be out soon. Yeah, we will see. Let's check out for Secret Network until they or when they post it.
Thank you so much, guys. This was phenomenal. I'm definitely going to be using this as like a starter template for just,
Yes.
yeah, I never ever used context before like that for just having Secret.js throughout. So I thought that was really cool to see. And
Yeah,
also,
it's a good way to use it. I mean, it just is so much easier, you know, if in practice are using it in tons of components at the same time, you shouldn't really like create 10 new instances. So,
Right.
or use prop drilling, which isn't recommended in that case, because otherwise, let's say you have like 10 props or so below and the 10 levels, then it's getting a bit cumbersome.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure people will be pinging you with questions, but this is phenomenal. And we'll be sure to get this uploaded to YouTube this week for anyone who was able to join live or who joined late.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much. So if there's no questions left, yeah, have a nice evening. Nice to have had you here and see you soon. Bye-bye.